Hi everyone, welcome back to Ghost Prime Transformer Reviews. Today I'll be taking a look at MP-47 Hound. Now Hound was one of the very first Autobots cars to be made in 1984. He has appeared in both the comics and the cartoon on multiple occasions. He's a very popular character, and it's very odd that it took them this long to make a masterpiece figure of it. This masterpiece figure falls in line with the latest masterpiece figures that are very panely. They have these little tiny, little intricate engineering bits, transformation, that can make them prone to breakage. They are not good to be transformed multiple times. I would definitely not recommend it. Now, I got this guy off Amazon Japan. I paid about $120 for him. I do know that he's going for a little bit more on the American retailer side. So if you could find him from Japan, that's my recommendation. Now, he does turn into a beautiful looking Jeep and a beautiful looking cartoon accurate robot, which I will go over in the review. One of the really cool things is he does have a lot of accessories. He has a canopy on the top. You could put the accessories in there. You could fold these couple pieces here. The gas can does go stored away. And you could put these in here into the transformation, or you could leave them out. There's a lot of things, a lot of thought went into this figure, so I can understand the high price point. It is a small figure, so I could also get where the price point may be a little high for some. I also wish that these here pieces came in chrome, and the gun would have been really awesome if you could just take these off, switch them out some chrome pieces. Alas, that's not the case. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. And here's the box. It is a standard Japanese masterpiece box. It has Japanese text, Cybertron Autobot Scout Hound, MP-47, a Wiley's Jeep registered trademark. It is officially licensed. CJ3B, which is the type of Jeep he is. It is your standard masterpiece box. It's flat black with a shiny print. Text on this side. Masterpiece. Picture of Hound in his Jeep form. Robot form with the visor. And on the back, it has just a ton of images. These images are actually kind of tiny, but here's you can see some descriptions in Japanese. Some different depictions, all the accessories that it comes with, and this guy comes with a ton of accessories. Different faces, different things he could do. Very cool. Inside the box, there is his instruction sheet. Inside the instruction sheet baggie, you will find a masterpiece trading card. I'll get that in focus. Stats on the back, an image. You will have this piece of the instructions, which is interesting to me because it looks like they left this out of the instructions, or they wanted something to be a little bit more clear in these, but these are not in the main instructions. The main instructions do fold out to be a giant poster-like instruction booklet. Opens up quite large. There we go. Lots of depictions of the character. The different things you could do with his accessories. And the transformation steps. Right here. Very large instruction sheet. So large, in fact, they forgot some. Inside, you'll find the clamshell packaging with all of his accessories. Pistol, gun, the back-mounted gun, spare tire, gas tank, hollow beam, 2 extra side mirrors, two different faces. A key. This is the soft canopy, a hologram driver, and Spike. And of course, the actual main robot. This key is, I believe, the key to when he locked Ravage in the cage. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with the Ravage, and I'm not sure there's a place to stick Ravage on the back. Something I haven't tried yet. So let's get this guy out and check him out. All right, here he is with some of his accessories on. He's got a spare tire. He's got his mounted machine gun, or cannon, whatever you want to call it. And in his Jeep mode. Now, he looks pretty badass in his Jeep mode. He is just really fucking cool. So he's got some nice paint detailing on it. Let me get it focused here. He's got the tail lights that are painted. All the rims are painted on the entire figure. He's got these little triangle pieces. The Autobot logo there, which is more the cartoon style. He's also got one here. I kind of wish it had a white outline. I really think it would pop a little bit more. He's got the pulley system here, which, let's see if we get this in focus. You can see the W on it. Nicely detailed. Silver painted headlights. Star. Mirrors. Now, I don't know if I could get it, if it shows up in this light or on camera. But it almost has a metallic sheen to it, kind of like how Megatron did. These pieces here definitely have a little bit of a metallic sheen. It's not a flat sort of color. It does look really nice. You have to get it in the right light. I guess almost like a pearlescent to it. He does have the inside is all done up. The dashboard, center console, seats, all very nicely detailed. Of course, you can see the underside. You see some legs, and his rocket is facing the wrong direction. So yeah, he looks pretty good overall. I mean, it's a nice Jeep mode. It really is a nice Jeep mode. This piece here, this gun can rotate all the way, either direction. It could go. It could also be pointed up like that or directly straight, which I don't know why you want me doing that. You blow through the windshield. But the windshield also can fold completely down. So yeah, it's really cool. Really cool. And also in the box, you do get a hologram driver, which fits directly in here. I had him in here earlier. There we go. Fits right in there. Looks really cool. Also, Spike, who was actually quite articulated for his little size. However, there are some scale issues here. For example, here's the Spike that came with MP-10. If I get him to stand up. Here's the adult Spike that came with Ultra Magnus. As you can see, it's quite a bit larger. So the scale doesn't exactly fit in the rest of the Masterpiece line as a Jeep. I want to say he fits as like the cars, but it's really kind of hard to tell because the figures are so vastly different. But if you compare head sizes to this guy, he does scale much nicer with, I believe this would be Daniel, but he does scale much nicer there. So this would be much more accurate. And for size comparison, here he is with Generation 1 Hound. Now, I have the back gun, but it's broken. I did have all the accessories. My Hound is broken. I wish I used to have an IGA Hound complete with the box. Like an idiot, I traded it, not realizing what I had. And ever since then, I've been looking for a nice Hound figure. I really need one. This one's seen better days. Let me know if you happen to know of a good one for a good price. Anyway, here's how he scales with the Generation 1. Stay up there. The Generation 1 Hound. So you can see quite a bit smaller. He's actually scales barely okay with some of the other masterpieces. The real scale for this guy is in robot mode. So now you see, of course, you have him as the Jeep here, and you have some other accessories. This part you can stick on. This is the soft canopy, and what you could do is fold this gun up. There's different ways you could stick it on there. Put it like that, and then you could just take this, and what it does is it clips over the front, clips over the back. I gotta try to get it on there. There we go. There we go. Like that. One thing about this figure, it does roll very nicely, considering his wheels split apart, which is really cool. So, yeah, I mean, it looks great. It looks really good. So, take this piece off also. You could take this. This is the gun emplacements. So, get a little close-up look to it, of it. And you, underside here, you have a bunch of different little slots and pegs. So you could take this gun, and if you can see the bottom of it, there's a notch right there, smaller and larger, which fits right there. And then that could go, press that in there, fold it up, bend that sideways like that. I have big fingers, so this is not super easy for me to do. There, so that folds up, goes in like that. He has his little key piece, and that piece goes right in here on this peg, as per the instructions. Of course, I only have trouble with this on camera. And he has his, get it look nice. There we go. Screaming face. And happy face. That's supposed to be happy. What they do is they slot right in here. Then the gas tank goes there, and the spare tire goes there. So the spare tire comes off of this. Gas tank pops off of a peg. Close up of the gas tank. And that goes just like so. And there's a slot right here. And there's a slot on the back of the tire right there. And that goes like that. And that's where you can store all these pieces. When he is in robot mode, he can actually hold on to this as a shield or a backpack. Now, to transform this guy, I'm not going to go step by step. I'm going to end up speeding us up a little bit. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do a slow step-by-step transformation. I may slow it down a little bit to just to show you some points that I think are important points in the transformation to where you could break them or whatever, because this does have a lot of little panels, and these little panels can be prone to breakage very easily, especially this piece right here. As you can see, it does have some give, but the hinge is down here. It does move pretty freely, but I would be very afraid of just pushing it and pulling it here. So you one last look at the Jeep logo there, and everything there. So there's a couple things to start, and you have to start on these panels. So these panels right here, actually, it might be a better way to start this. Start with these panels here. But these panels are very prone to breakage. I've already seen somebody break this one because you see this hinge? You have to pull this up this way, where this hinge doesn't give this direction. It relies on the give of the plastic. In my opinion, that is not a good way to do it, because people could just pull it yank it too hard, which I almost did when I first got this thing, and break it. I've seen someone break it already. These pieces here tab in via the seats. So you take these seats, lift them up, and then there he is. Masterpiece Hound. Now, a lot of people were really upset about the neck. It actually sits on there pretty well. It's really, really not bad at all. If anything, my complaint is arms are a little short, only going just past his waist. Whereas he's got a pretty good range of motion in his head. Really good. He's got really, really good articulation. He's a decent figure, and he looks pretty good in robot mode. As you can see, he looks pretty good in robot mode. Here's him all the way around, side, back, close up, right here. He looks good. He looks good. He looks better than I thought he did with that the floating head syndrome. His legs, he could go all the way forward. He could go kind of back, but not too far back. Actually, he gets only about that far because it gets in the way right here. He's got an interesting joint here where it's like, you can see this piece that slides around this joint, but it doesn't allow for really any backwards movement. So that's about all he could go backwards, which kind of is a shame. He could go all the way sideways, twist there. He could also twist below the knee. He has a pretty decent bend at his knee. He has great ankles, so he could go forward, backward, probably even further backwards because you got this double hinge here, and side to side. Pretty good and far. He does have a waist that you could rotate 360 degrees. His arms all the way around. He has a double jointed elbow, so you get a pretty good bend on the elbow. It also could twist here and at the bicep and the wrist. He has fingers, and his wrist is jointed up. His fingers, these three, are on a single hinge. There we go. I guess decent articulation there, even with a thumb. His head cannot go all the way around, but he can look to the left and right. He can look pretty good far up. You can see where he does have a little bit there. And a little bit down. So he's got a pretty good range of motion. He also has, if you open up his head here, right there, that's also how you pull out the heads. They pop out this way, the faces. This is very difficult to get out unless you have nails. This little face visor that I believe he used in one episode. So you could have that should you wish to do it. And of course, multiple faces. So for a size comparison, there he is with Masterpiece Sunstreaker. Here he is with Smokescreen, MP-10 Optimus Prime, there he is with his Generation 1 counterpart. And I realized I did not show his weapon. This is his handheld weapon. It slots in like any other Masterpiece. It actually comes apart like that and then stores in the panels in his legs and here. Stores in these panels here. you have to take each piece apart. So it's not as cool as just being able to pull the gun out. And that fits in his hand very nicely, which you could actually really nicely, because of the hinges, open up very, very, very wide. Just put the peg directly in his hand. Close up the thumb, and he holds it incredibly tightly. Funny story about that gun, to those who don't know it, that is only that small in the cartoon because of foreshortening on the original box. He should have had a gun that looked very similar to that in the cartoon, but they're like, oh, he has a short gun, and didn't realize it was foreshortening. And thus, an error becomes canon, I guess. So, also you could do with this piece is this kind of hangs on the back somehow. Actually, I have not done it yet. I'm not sure if it goes that way or this way. But it can hang on his back and become a backpack. Or he can hold it like a shield, which is via this little handle. That little handle right there in the middle. You could just slot in exactly the same way as the gun did. And he holds it like a shield. Which looks rather silly to me because he's just holding the top of a car. But he is really posable. Decent figure. Very worthy of Hound. Now for some final thought. So, is Masterpiece Hound without its faults? No. Those panels can be rather scary, especially the first time doing it. I recommend reading the instructions. All in all, I think he's a great figure. The plastic quality feels really good on him. Keep in mind the point on the feet, that the feet which become the back of the vehicle, which I mentioned earlier in the transformation. That, I think, can actually really, really get some people. And when you're turning this piece right here around, that's very hard. A lot of the transformation requires tolerances that are very, very tight. So things need to be in their spot before you could move this thing. That is becoming a trend on the Transformers lately of the Masterpiece. Overall, it's a good Masterpiece Hound. I'm glad we got this guy. I do wish that, like I said, I am more of a fan of kind of a mix between the cartoon and a realistic aesthetic. I do believe this figure does a very nice job, though, is a very nice job at creating a rendition of the cartoon. The neck actually looks pretty decent, so that's not an issue for me at all. His price point's a little higher. I missed the $65 Datsuns. However, definitely worthy of a Hound. Really glad to have him in the collection. This really goes with the current offerings of Masterpiece, and I highly recommend getting this figure. So please like, subscribe, hit the downvote button if you have to. I should be back with more reviews, either as the Ghost Prime Reviews channel or Bots and Brews, where I have a beer and talk bots. It does peg in. Remember this little piece. See you guys next time.